It is the Blitz here on 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. It's been an interesting couple of days for the 82-year-old Jerry Jones. In fact, since he's turned 82, things have not gone extremely well for him, especially with some of the questions he asked rhetorically.
Do you think I'm an idiot?
I don't know that he really wants us to all answer that. Let's talk about it with our good friend RJ Ochoa from bloggingtheboys.com joining us here on the Buyers Barricades guest line. He asked, do you think he's an idiot?
Well, the last thing I'm going to do is go on any radio station and say something disparaging about Jerry.
The wrath of Jerry's coming your way.
I don't think he's an idiot. I really don't. But I think he is talking a lot and really doesn't. I think he's lost, the plot. He's lost sense of care. And I think if he made any mistake, any tactical mistake, it was improperly reading the room from the moment they lost to the Green Bay Packers, because he then gaslit his fan base over and over and over again and expected they would show up mindlessly as they have every year in the past, and did not recognize just how heartbroken they were and how much he kept pushing them away.
Well, RJ, let's face it. You're a Cowboy fan. You're not going to stop watching the Cowboys. I know you've got a blog in the boys there, so it's kind of your job. But I mean,
kind of.
Most of the Cowboy fans aren't going to boycott the Dallas Cowboys. That stadium will be full the next time they're there, and it's going to happen. That's just the way it is, and Jerry knows that.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I understand that people compartmentalize things differently and process things differently. And some people say, like, oh, stop watching. Let's just watch, HGT on Sunday afternoons instead. And it's like, I'm not going to do that to myself. Like, I'm not going to not enjoy it. This is a part of, I mean, for me, it's literally my life, but it's a part of culture. It's a part of, kind of how we live and operate in the fall. It's just one of those things where you accept the limits. I mean, you accept that this franchise, unless they just, stumble into it, are probably not going to win the Super Bowl, because they're probably not going to do anything and everything they can. It's kind of like how my good friend Jason Minix taught me that hockey has the worst commissioner in sports. That doesn't mean I love hockey less, but it just means that you understand it anytime you watch a game.
Very true. And again, I think there is a difference between fan apathy and passion and anger, because you're right, we're all still going to watch. Now, I know that I've been to 2 games this year, and they both have been awful. And I know the investment that it takes with getting tickets, getting to the game, hotel, the beer that you buy while you're there, the other food. It's an expense. I don't know that I'm going back this year because of that. I'll still watch at home. I'm still going to consume it. But I know that if I don't buy that ticket, somebody else will. That seat is going to be full. Apathy is when they don't show up anymore. But we all have a right to be mad. And Jerry yesterday taking to task Sean and RJ from the 105.3 The Fan during their interview for asking questions that were legit. I didn't think they were out of bounds. I don't think that they were disrespectful, but in the media, we are a conduit from the team to the fans and expressing opinion. Jerry loves going on the radio because he wants that message getting to the fans. I thought what he did yesterday was completely uncalled for and unprofessional.
It was unprofessional. It was rude. It was bullying. It was petulant. It was petty. It was small. I mean, like, we could go on and on and on and on. And the amazing phenomenon to me is it's impossible to get a group of people to agree on something, right? Like, you walk around the station, you go door to door. Hey, do you think ice cream's cool? Maybe like 90% of people are like, yeah, ice cream rocks. And then, you got the Joe Reinagels who are like, ice cream's stupid. Anybody who likes ice cream is dumb, right?
I like ice cream.
You can't get universal opinion on anything, but find me the person who is like, has Jerry's back on this. Like there's nobody, man. Like, he is on an island, and it's sad. I thought Mac Engel had a great column about this. It is sad to watch. It's the passage of life, whatever you want to call it, but it's also really toxic. Like, is it funny? No. Is it theater? No. It's just really sad and frustrating. And the ultimately sad thing is that the people who are going to have to cash the check that this dude wrote yesterday are the ones who said nothing. The people who kind of run from this attention that Jerry pays and that Jerry seeks, and they're going to have to do it next Sunday night in primetime against Daddy. the big bad San Francisco 49ers, who are probably going to be pissed after losing the Super Bowl rematch to the Chiefs this weekend.
Well, and look, I think that Jerry, because he doubled down last night with Diana Rossini of The Athletic, and basically said that there's no free agents coming, no trades coming, none of that's happening this year. They're going to ride with what they have. And I think that's frustrating to fans as well, especially when you have the injury situation that you've got. But that tells me, RJ, and you tell me, because Jason and I kind of disagree with that. I think Jerry thinks he's got a decent team on the field, and that team is going to play, kind of like Gene Hackman and Hoosiers. That's my team, and there they are.
Wow. Well, Gene Hackman's Hoosiers was made around the last time the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, if I recall correctly.
That's about right.
But I think that you're thinking about it incorrectly, and I say that matter-of-factly, not in my cute little jovial way. It's like when people tried to unpack the all-in thing. Like, there was so many, dissertations and, whatever. Like, well, here's what all-in really means. I think that these are just things Jerry says. I don't think there's any belief behind them. I don't think there's any logic behind them. I think he just said what he wanted to say yesterday. He contradicted himself several times in the singular interview, like he does very often. And so I think if I think there's any emotion driving him now, it's pulling this off the way he wants it. Oh, you want me to trade for somebody? And now I'm not going to trade for them even harder. Now you want to be happy? Now I'm not going to do it. Like, now it's just spite. You know what I mean? Like, it's reached a point, because it was incredibly shocking. You mentioned it, that he doubled down so hard yesterday, and that was an actual attack to his comments to Diana Rossini. So this just feels like he is perfectly fine going down with the $1 billion yacht that he sits on all the time.
RJ Ochoa from bloggingtheboys.com here on the Blitz. It's twofold. I mean, one of the I loved part of Jerry getting angry, because he should be angry. But I think one of the reasons why he's angry is because he knows he is messed up and he is wrong with this roster construction. He thought it was good. It's not. So he's angry at himself. He took it out on those guys. Threatening to fire them and that kind of stuff, that's where I thought it crossed the line. And then doubling down in that interview with Diana Rossini from The Athletic, saying that he could replace him, which he's starting to sound like Dan Snyder. I'll buy a radio station and control the programming, so all the commentary is good, even though the team is not. That's the kind of stuff that bothered me when he doubled down, saying, well, they aren't football guys. If I were talking to real fans, that to me, I think was over the line. I mean, Bobby Bell, good friend of yours, pretty damn good football guy, if you ask me.
Yeah, and again, it seems like a wounded animal, right? A cornered animal, just kind of lashing out, just doing anything and everything they can. And that's what makes this really so sad. And you're right. I mean, I think there hasn't been a singular person that's like, well, actually, that line of questioning was a little out of line. Like, no, this was incredibly mild. This was incredibly calm. And where I would disagree is kind of where I disagree with Joe. I don't think that he thought this team was good enough. I'm not willing to go that far. I'm not willing to give him that benefit of the doubt. I think he's just annoyed. I think that the primary emotion here is annoyance at people having a problem with him, because based on how he spoke yesterday, we should all consider ourselves fortunate to be in his space, in his environment, in his ethos. And if we don't just accept the crumbs that he deems are all we should eat, the morsels that we should be bowing down in gratitude for, then we are wrong. We are the ones that are going to get replaced, because there's a lot of other people ready to eat the morsels.
All right, RJ, let me play devil's advocate then, because we can all be mad at Jerry Jones, and I've heard, Jason and I both have heard it forever. Get rid of Jerry and everything will be fine. I'm not sure that that's the case. However, when I look at what is taking place on that field on Sunday, or the last game they lost to Baltimore, or the ass kicking they got at the hands of the Saints, or the butt whipping they got at the hands of the Green Bay Packers, Jerry Jones was not on the field missing tackles and not making plays. Those players, for whatever reason, are not playing hard football at home. They're not. And there's got to be a reason for that. And I'm not sure that we can blame that on Jerry Jones.
I think you're absolutely right, Joe. And this is a case of MTCBT. Multiple things can be true. It can be true that Dak Prescott is falling short of a franchise quarterback contract that he obviously got. It can be true that CeeDee Lamb is falling short of that. It could be true that part of the reason CeeDee Lamb is falling short may have been missing training camp because of the inactivity that the Cowboys insisted on with regards to their front office. It can be true that there is a culture of dead man on arrival with Mike McCarthy being in a contract year. It can be true that the offensive line is missing blocks. It can be true that Zach Martin is old. It can be true that they don't have good defensive talent. All of these things can be true, which is why shining a light on yourself, pounding your chest, and making sure you're the biggest show in town only exacerbates the issue. And I'm not saying that you should tuck your tail and hide and cower and hope that you just kind of get ignored and live life like, I don't know, like the Indianapolis Colts. But, I mean, Jerry is stirring the pot, right? Like, it is not a good pot. These aren't great ingredients, and it's tough, and it's a very toxic situation. But then Jerry comes in and adds the cream of chicken, and we didn't want it that soupy. You know what I mean? Like, we wanted it to be a little bit thicker. He's like, no, it has to be this way. Here's some cream of mushroom on top of it. Like, it is, I mean, he is the grand master of the circus. But to your point, there are other acts involved that own their own individual responsibility as well.
I don't know. Are we making a tuna casserole or what? RJ Ochoa, bloggingtheboys.com, joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I think it might also be very well calculated from Jerry Jones. He is not an idiot. He is smarter than a lot of people want to give him credit for. And you know what we're talking about? His tirade on the radio, and not do they need to change coordinator? What about a coach that doesn't have an extension? You got a lame duck coach. Everybody's going to talk about a midseason firing. Hell, the Jets have already fired their coach, and he had years left on his contract. So when you look at it, could it just be, let's change the narrative? What really bothers me, and I don't believe him, is that they won't be in the trade market, because Stephen Jones will come on this show, although not this week. He's canceled his appearance on Thursday because of the bye. And he'll say, improving the roster is a 24/7, 365-day-a-year job. They've got to do something, don't they?
Well, first of all, if he's saying that, it's wrong. There's 366 days in this year. You should fact check, Stephen. It's a leap year. A simple way to remember that: election years, leap years. Come on, guys, be on top of your P's and Q's. But that being said, that's part of the tirade got all the attention from what Jerry said, but there were so many factual inaccuracies with what he said, which were very frustrating in and of themselves. And that he lamented about, like, I mean, he outwardly challenged Sean and RJ and Bobby, right? Like, well, what can I do? What can we do to really go fix this roster? It's impossible to fix this roster. He said the exact moment in time that the New York Jets, who you mentioned, who have already fired their head coach, who had multiple years remaining on his deal, acquired Devontae Adams. Why? Because their quarterback wants them. Look, I think we would all agree that the Jets have their own, soup or stew or tuna casserole of problems right now. But even the Jets, who are a disaster in their own right, are able to say, our quarterback wants this guy. It'll help us win. Who cares? Let's do it. Let's just try. I mean, and if we fail, so what? We're failures. Like, the Cowboys are the Jets. Like, acting like they're this high and mighty squad, and Jerry can bring up the Super Bowls in the night, all he wants, that were long ago. But they are that team, but they don't exemplify the same ambition, the same cunningness, the same attitude. And that Amari Cooper would get traded for more value than they originally got for him was just the cherry on top of this crap day. So I'm with you that I don't believe it, but I also don't believe that they're a trade away. I actually think that the trading for somebody at this point in time would be doing a disservice to the future of the organization or whatever head coach is around here in 2025 if it isn't Mike McCarthy.
And I agree with that, because there's not just one piece that you can go out and get. It's going to fix it, because they're going to get healthy on defense. I think Kendricks will probably be back for San Francisco. Micah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the field. You got Deron Bland, who will probably be on the field as well. So you're going to get a lot of pieces back on that defense, I think, for that San Francisco game. But I'm with you, RJ. I don't think just going out and getting somebody just to get somebody is going to turn this football team around. That offensive line is a problem. It's a real problem for all the reasons you mentioned. 2 rookies and an aging Zach Martin. And you got a Terrence Steele. I don't know what happened to that guy. And so it's just not one piece away.
This whole thing was avoidable. Not that they would be 6-0. Not that they would have won the Super Bowl.
Here we go.
But more than anything, it did not have to be this toxic, right? I mean, the just constant, never-ending gaslighting really pushed for. And so, I mean, look, when you're sowing, it's awesome, right? Like, hey, look at me, I'm sowing, baby. But Jerry, the time to reap is here. And I'm sorry that you don't like the consequences of your actions. But people don't forget, this isn't 1993 anymore, where you can jump on local radio station once a week and that's all people get from you. People are smart. People listen to shows like the Blitz. People pay attention. They're on the internet. They know that you are lying. They know that you are full of it when you say that you can't afford this, that, or the other. And they're tired of, to Jason's point, spending their hard-earned money for you to just put some sub-product out and have the highest ratings ever in Fox's afternoon window, whatever. I mean, who is this person? I mean, no disrespect to her, that is performing at halftime of the Thanksgiving Day game. That was the announcement that we got during the ass kicking that they received. That's the bottom line around here, is keeping the show going and the lights on.
RJ, can you use the word precipice in a sentence, please?
You are on the precipice of taking a break at this moment in time.
What's that?
You are on the precipice.
Precipice.
The verge.
Yes. I'm saying that because there's on our YouTube channel, people were predicting that you would use the word precipice. Since you haven't yet, I wanted to make sure we got that in there.
That doesn't count. So.
I want to say one thing to get it in here too, because I'm watching you on your YouTube channel. I like your shirt, Joe. This isn't an indictment against it, but there's something about it that it looks like a 90s TV, like with wavy lines. There's something about the checkered pattern
color bars
that's making it look, it looks holographic or something. Like, what material is this? I really want to know.
Wow.
Well, it's a golf shirt, RJ, and a very damn good,
a Ralph Lauren golf shirt at that.
A very fine looking golf
Lauren,
shirt.
Whoa,
and,
this is a bigger problem than the shirt. Who pronounces it Ralph Lauren?
What'd I say? How do you say it?
Jason Minix predicts.
Ralph Lauren.
Well, whatever. I mean, he got it at a knockoff over there at the Eisenhower Flea Market. Lauren.
Yeah, Ralph. Okay.
Maybe RJ, maybe you'll be getting the shirt for Christmas, my friend, since you like it so much.
It's so interesting. Like when you move, it's like a wave.
Yeah.
I can't not see it now.
Except for color bars go the other way. If it were vertical stripes instead of horizontal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they say not to wear horizontal stripes. Maybe we all just consider them moving forward.
Well, I'm wearing it. I don't really give a damn.
I can barely see it if it helps. Like it looks like you're wearing a hologram.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad I stood out to you today, RJ. Makes me happy.
Stand out to me every day.
The fashion expert.
Yes.
Who's wearing a T-shirt. You wearing a T-shirt, RJ?
I am wearing a T-shirt. That's correct. I had a polo on earlier, but long day.
Got you. Glad you dressed up for us.
Exactly.
I mean, you realized you
Well,
need to be appropriate for the setting.
Underneath.
Yes.
I've got slacks on underneath here. But,
Nobody believes you.
Nobody.
You work from home. You haven't put on
Shout out
pants in
Ralph Lauren.
years.
I'm cooking a brisket this weekend, so I want all of you to comment on my Instagram and tell me how wonderful it is, and just kind of feed me positive energy.
Outstanding. I'll
Good
do
stuff.
it.
RJ
Yes.
Ochoa, bloggingtheboys.com. Appreciate you, my friend. RJ and all our guests on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com.